All right, hello everybody. Welcome back to Second City Sports. Today we're going to be doing an end of season review for the Blackhawks. Obviously, their season ended on Wednesday versus the Sharks. It's good for the boys to cap off the season with a win, especially since the last few weeks have been, to put it frank, really, really bad. So, anyway, we're going to get into it. We're going to break down the season into a quarter. We're going to break down the season a quarter at a time, and we'll just go over how they did in every part of the year. If you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends, like and subscribe. And with all that being said, let's get into it. So now getting into the first 20 games, the Blackhawks started the season very well. They had a record of 10-6-4. They averaged 3.2 goals for per game, while only allowing 2.6 goals against per game. The total number of goals was 64. Total number of goals against was 52. These games took place from October 7th to November 20th. Yeah, it was a very promising start to the season. I never believed that this team was good enough to make the playoffs, but I figured, well, maybe this year they can be in the fight at least later in the year. Maybe it won't be like a complete sell-off. I mean, I expected guys like Murphy, Dickinson, etc., to get moved. But I didn't think they would finish the year in second last after the start. They showed a lot of promise. They were playing fun hockey. Even the first three games of the year, like they lost their first three games, but they were all one goal games. Boston was in overtime. Then they beat the Mammoth 3-1, beat the Blues 8-3, which was really nice. I think that was the game where Nazar and Bedard ended up on TNT. Shootout loss, overtime win. So like all the games were super close. Beating Ottawa 7-3. Um, Winnipeg was the first real like blowout loss of the year. They lost 6-3. Even then, I think there was some empty netters. Yeah, just a lot of close games, and the games that they did when they were actually scoring a lot of goals. Like looking at November, Vancouver 5-2, Calgary 4-0, Detroit 5-1. And then it just kind of started to fall apart after this like first little stretch of the year, and it started with that Buffalo game that we'll talk about in the next chapter. But yeah, Nazar and Bedard were doing phenomenal. This was especially the time when the Hawks were running seven defensemen, so they would kind of double shift Nazar and Bedard on different lines, and it was working really well for them to start the year. Unfortunately, we're going to talk about this also in the next part of the video. Nazar and Bedard got hurt, and that's where the team really started to struggle. So, but yeah, overall, this was a very good start to the year, and if they would have been able to play at this pace, they would have been in the playoff hunt for pretty much the whole season. Again, I expected a drop off. I didn't think it would be as sharp as it was. But if they could play like this kind of level of hockey next year, and we're gonna get into like how I think they could do that next year, you know, it could be a decent year. All right, so moving on to the next part of the season, we're entering the "oh no, we suck again" era of the 2025-2026 season. So this is games 21 through 40, November 21st through January 1st. In the first 20 games, remember, the Hawks averaged 3.2 goals for per game and 2.6 goals against per game. In this part of the season, the Blackhawks average 2.3 goals for per game and 3.9 goals against per game. So you could see just a significant drop off almost straight away. And again, PDO, everything. The Hawks were shooting at an incredibly high percentage and stuff to start the year. But still, this drop off was like scary bad. And obviously, Nazar got hurt and Bedard got hurt. Nazar was hurt from the 20th of December to the 22nd of January, and Bedard missed from the 12th of December to the 9th of January. And that really just killed the season right then and there. Without those two guys, the offense was pretty spineless. Yeah, I do want to also point out the fact that Spencer Knight was fantastic this entire season. He was probably the Hawks' second best player for most of it. But you when you lose your two best players and all of a sudden the puck's in your end a lot more. This is what happens. This is why you give up so many goals, and this is something that they have to address for next year because we cannot go through this as a fan base yet again of watching a team finish in the bottom three, even if the start of the year was promising, and we'll get to the next little bit of the season as well, because they improved again slightly, not as good as the first part, but they did improve again slightly. Um, yeah, just pretty much everything was going wrong for them at this time. This is also around the point where Burakovsky forgot how to play hockey, and we will talk about fucking Andre Burakovsky and Jeff Blashill's love of him in the top six, probably at the end of the video. But man, yeah, this is when it all really fell apart for the Hawks. This little stretch right here, and it was injuries, but also it's just the fact that we do not have the depth to cover if our main guys get hurt. I think this is around the time they called up Blardis for the first time and more. They both played good. They had a really nice line going with Teravainen. I can't remember if it was in this part of the season or more in January that they started using those three together. But they were playing well. I think that could be maybe a line for next year. But we'll see. All right, so for the third part of the season, we're going to talk about the stretch basically just before the Olympic break. So from January 3rd to February 4th. They went 7-8-2, so they did a little bit better than the previous little sample size. The goals for per game was 2.5. The goals against per game was 3.24. So still not great, but it was better than the previous 20 games. 42 goals for, 55 goals against. Yeah, it was a little bit of a better stretch. They started January pretty well, if I take a look here. So January, they won their first four games in January. Dallas, which I counted as part of the previous one, but I think I'll just go over now. So they won their first four games. They beat Dallas 4-3, Capitals 3-2 in a shootout, Vegas 3-2 in overtime, and then St. Louis 7-3, another nice blowout win over the Blues. So they were doing a little bit better to start January, and then kind of towards the middle of the month they tailed off again. They lost 4 out of 5, then they won 2 out of 3, and then they lost their last four in January. Then in the two games in February before the break, they beat San Jose 6-3. They lost to Columbus. So this was kind of just an up and down month for them. It wasn't bad for the most part. There really wasn't too many blowouts that I can remember clearly. Maybe that Capitals game was kind of bad in the Pittsburgh game. But overall, it was a solid month. This is kind of after the hot start. This is what I imagined the team would play like kind of the rest of the year. Because they were never going to stay at the 10-6-1 pace that they were at for 20 games. But I was kind of hoping it would be like this, just solid, nothing spectacular, but not embarrassing to watch or not hard to watch. They were in most of these games. They won some, they lost some. It is what it is. Um, and now we are going to move on to the deadest period of the year and a period of time that made me want to stop watching them for quite a little bit. I think I want to say after the let me find it. I think after that Rangers 6-1 loss in the next segment of the season we're going to talk about, that's kind of when I wanted the season to end. But we'll get more onto that in a minute. All right, and now we're going to talk about the last part of the season, which was a complete and total dumpster fire. So let's set the scene a little bit. Obviously, the Olympic break happened. Team USA won gold. If we come back, I'm just going to go game by game through this. So we come back. 4-2 loss to Nashville. Huge start. 3-1 loss to Colorado. Even better. Nice win against Utah because, we own the Mammoth. For some reason this season. They fucking cannot beat us. 3-2 overtime loss to Winnipeg. That's understandable. Hellebuck was still in Olympic form. Vancouver 6-3 loss. Dallas 4-3 overtime loss. We beat the Mammoth in overtime. Beat them again in overtime. Uh, Vegas 4-0 loss. Minnesota overtime loss 4-3. Then we beat Minnesota. Uh, Colorado 4-1 loss. Nashville 3-2 loss. And then in overtime. And then we get to Anton Frondel's debut. Let me just say right now, Anton Frondel was great. I have really high hopes for him next year. Uh, we're going to talk about him at the end of the video as well, but he played great. Uh, he also kicked Burakovsky off the first line, so, thank God, finally. So 4-3 win. But then the rest of the season, after that 4-3 win against the Islanders, I wanted to die watching this fucking team. So we start off with a 5-1 loss to Philadelphia, a 6-1 loss to the Rangers, who were actively tanking, and I honestly think on paper are just about as bad as we are, or even worse in some ways. New Jersey 5-3 loss, and that was not as close as that score makes it seem. 4-3 loss in overtime to Winnipeg. Okay, not terrible. 3-1 loss to Edmonton. Edmonton was in control the whole game. 4-2 win against Seattle. Nice little win. We lose to the Sharks 3-2. That always sucks. And then we came into this last 4-game homestand. Jeff Blashill said before the homestand started, this is a chance for our guys to show how good we are and to show how good we can be next year. So what do? They immediately started off with a 7-2 loss against Carolina. They scored a touchdown in the extra point. We got a safety. Lost to the Blues 5-3. I think we scored a couple late goals to make that one closer than it seemed. Got blown out of the building by Buffalo. But at the very least, they finished it with a nice 5-2 win against the Sharks to save some sort of morale and dignity going into the offseason. Because, oh God, April was so fucking hard to watch. And listen, I understand that, the trade deadline was this month. They traded Murphy. They traded Dickinson. Doc. Foligno obviously was gone, So a lot of the veteran presence was gone. But the drop-off in quality of play was so, so bad. And it was just so hard to watch them night in and night out. So let's just go over the final statistics. So in this last little stretch, they went 7-13-5. Which honestly I thought when I was counting this up it was going to be even worse, but that's how they finished the year on that little note. They allowed 3.6 goals against per game, only scoring 2.4 goals a game. The total number of goals was 59 goals for, 90 goals against, bringing their overall goal difference this season to minus 64. And their final record was 29, 39, 14th. Good enough for second worst in the NHL. By the way, their final record was that after on February 4th, their record was 22-6-9. So they only won 7 games the rest of the season. It's fucking embarrassing. They played so bad down the last stretch of the season, and I think I can understand because you lose the veteran group. Maybe the young guys weren't ready to take that leadership step yet. I don't know what was going on in the locker room. We're never going to know. But it was bad. There's no other way to put it. There's no sugarcoating how bad this end of the season was. And yes, the Sharks win at the end. Again, it was very nice. It was nice seeing Bedard show up, Celebrini a little bit. But yeah, just a terrible way to end the season. I'm worried that this might hurt them going into next year a little bit. Maybe just kind of kills the spirit of the locker room. We'll see how they recover next year. We'll see how camp goes. Obviously, and here's the thing, they're going to have a couple of months to get over this, get ready for next year, but yeah, it's rough. So I think in the next little bit of this video, we're going to do some end of the season awards, and then we're going to go over what the team needs to do for next season. So stick with me. Alright, so first up for our end of season awards, it's going to be Most Valuable Hawk. I think it's a pretty clear winner here. It's going to be Connor Bedard. I have Spencer Knight taking the silver, Tyler Bertuzzi taking the bronze. I'd also like to give honorable mentions to, I would say, Frank Nazar, uh, Alex Vlasic, Louis Crevier, and I think I'll give one to Oliver Moore as well because he played very well. Um, yeah, I mean, listen, Bedard, obviously leading scorer, missed as many games as he did, was still leading scorer, point per game. He was on pace for 89 points, broke 30 goals for the first time, looks way better than he did last year. Exceptional. I'm very excited for his future. Obviously, Spencer Knight was amazing at the start of the season, was arguably the best goalie in the league. Uh, as the season went on, the numbers kind of started to fall, but he was still playing fantastic most of the time. A couple bad games here or there, but that's expected with NHL goalies. Even Vasilevsky and Shostur can have bad games every once in a while, so he played great. And Tyler Bertuzzi, I'm giving it to him, third place. He could just pretty much play with everybody this year, or he could play with pretty much anybody this year. Whatever line you stuck him on was usually one of the best lines of the night for the Hawks. Played great with Bedard, played great with Nazar, played great with Frondell. So just a Swiss Army knife of a player. Yes, he isn't the most skilled player, very much a crush the net and, look for nasty pucks kind of guy, but yeah, really liked him. So, and also he was consistent this year. That was one thing that was missing from him last year was he was very streaky, very inconsistent. This year, just throughout the whole season, he played well. So, good for him. So, after covering the most valuable Hawks, now it's time to talk about the least valuable. So, least valuable Hawk, the winner is Andrei Burakovsky. Uh, Pretty expected, I feel like. He had a good first 30 games of the season, but after that, man, it was bad, bad, bad. Blashill would just not take him off the first line, even though I think he had 2 points in a month or something ridiculous like that. He was awful the second half of the season. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a buyout candidate uh, in the off season because fuck, man, he was just so bad. Even when they moved him down in the lineup, I was thinking, well, okay, maybe now that he's playing in a lesser kind of role, maybe he'll start to do a little bit better. He'll start to gain some confidence again. No, just complete turnover machine. Just sucked the life out of every play he had the puck. Oh man, he was awful, just awful. Hard to watch. Um, Second place, we're gonna give it to Sam Lafferty. It's not really Lafferty's fault. I mean, he was the extra. He was a healthy scratch for most of the season. Um, but even when he did play, he didn't really play that well for the most part. He did score one really nice goal, so good for you, Sam Lafferty. But yeah, his overall body of work, even if being the healthy scratch, he was just very, not great even when he did play. But I'm sure he was a nice guy in the locker room, so nothing. I mean, he's the healthy scratch. It's not that big of a deal. And third is Ethan Del Maestro. Del Maestro didn't play a ton this season, but oh boy, when he finally got the chance to come up and start playing, fuck me, he was bad this last month. Oh man, that last game against the Sharks, even he was just constantly making bad decisions, pinching when he should stay back, and vice versa, turning the puck over, just constantly fucking up. So it sucks too because at the end of last season, I thought, and I think a lot of other people thought that he might be a guy who can be a contributor going forward. But yeah, dude, at the end of this season, I'm like, you might not even have a spot in Rockford next year, dude. I don't know what to tell you. You were fucking awful. All right, and so our final award is going to be for Rookie of the Year or Young Player of the Year, whatever you want to call it. The winner is going to be Oliver Moore. I really loved Moore's game this year. The stats don't really tell the story with him. 19 points in 51 games. That's nothing to sneeze at for a young player. But I love his tenacity. I love his ability, mainly his speed, his ability to annoy people in transition and just forecheck. Um, I hope he just becomes more aggressive. next year because that's kind of the one thing he was missing, like a little bit of tenacity, a little bit of mean streak in his game. But yeah, I'm very excited for his future. I like him a lot as a player. I also am going to give the silver to Anton Frondell, 9 points, 12 games, -1. Had a great season in Sweden with Djurgården. He was great. Like in a time when he came up where the team was playing god awful hockey, like he was one of the few bright lights that was shining. So yeah, I'm very excited for him next year. We'll see how he does, especially after he gets like a full training camp with Bedard, because that was kind of the one thing they didn't have like perfect chemistry right away. I think Frondell obviously adjusting to North American ice, and I think for Bedard having a teammate with talents for the first time all year. Besides, he would get the odd game with like Nazar or Bertuzzi, but for the most part, Bedard was playing with like Scrubs or Ryan Green, and I like Ryan Green a lot too. Like he's probably worthy of an honorable mention. But I think his future is more as like a third line defensive kind of forward. Um, but yeah, very excited for Frondell, and the guy who's going to come in third place, take the bronze, is Nick Lardis. I really liked Lardis a lot in the games that he played. Definitely has still a ton of things to work on. But yeah, he does have like that goal scoring, shoot first kind of mentality that I feel like the Hawks need in a lot of their players that kind of get into that kind of headset. So yeah, I enjoyed him a lot. As for some of the other young players, Krasinski, he looked a little bit better than he has in previous years, but still nothing special there. Bavair only played 7 games, and they were kind of scratching him every other game towards the end. He didn't play that bad, so we'll see. I think he's probably going to be starting in Rockford next year anyway. Who else? Rinzel was a bit of a disappointment this year. Not awful. You could kind of say the same about Levshinov. Him and Rinzel were both kind of disappointing this year, but we'll see how they do. We'll see where they start next year. I would expect both of them to be in the NHL, but you never know. So, anyway, that's going to do it for this one, guys. If you agreed with all my picks for these awards, be sure to leave a like. If you didn't, leave a comment why, and we can maybe talk about it down there in the comments section. Share it with your friends, and let's hope for better things in the future from Blackhawks hockey. Bye bye.